All right, this video is starting with 4b, and it again wants us to find x. So we know these are similar, parallel lines, angle-angle similarity theorem. But let's just make sure that we know which lines are corresponding. So it looks like we're going to use 18 and 7 correspond. And then it's kind of that thing again. We have this long side. We don't know how long it is. And then we know, we also don't know this side. Well, let me show you what it's going to look like. Let me show you what it's going to look like. We're going to do, if we can do 18 over 7, so we do the big side first, 18 over 7, those two yellow sides, is equal to, then if we do the big side first over here, we don't know what it is, but we know that it's this whole thing, and this is x, and this is 3, so the big side is 3 plus x. So we will put 3 plus x here over, and then the smaller side is just this x part, okay? So you guys, it's really easy to think about when you have numbers, and it's also easy to think about when you have a number and a variable, but it is a little bit more to think about, so you have to be careful. And then here's the confusing part. So we have 3 plus x over x. This is perfectly okay to be able to solve because we only have one variable, that's x. And we're just going to do it the same way. We are going to do cross multiplication. So we have 18 times x is 18x equals, and then the other side, we have the same thing. We have 7 times, but we're just going to put this in parentheses, 7 times 3 plus x. And we can do that. We just need to distribute, right? So this becomes 18x equals 7 times 3 is 21 plus 7 times x is 7x. Now subtract 7x's from both sides, and we get 11x equals 21. Then divide both sides by 21, and we get 21 divided by 11. We can turn this into a mixed number by saying 11 can go into 21 once, and there's 10 over 11 left. Or we could just put in the calculator, we get a decimal, and we get, let's see, 21 divided by 11 equals 1.91. Now, if it doesn't say, and we're going to change this to approximately because it was a really long decimal and I rounded, if it doesn't say how many decimals to go to, always do 2. Always do 2. It was 0.909, and I know I just wanted these 2, and because this 9 was greater than 5, 5 and above, give it a shove, that made, oh, that was a 0, sorry guys. That made this 0 into a 1, and that's how we rounded it there. It's multiple choice, so you may need any one of these as an answer. Okay? Calculate the value of x, y. So we're just going to kind of do the same, thing for number 5. Okay, and we know because these are parallel, angles, all that, right? So if we want to find x, we can do any one of these other proportional sides. Well, let's do this one. Let's do y first. We know y corresponds with 12. So we know y over 12 is going to be a thing, is equal to, and the short side here is 10, and the long side here is not 18, it's 18 plus 10, which is 28. Okay, then we cross multiply here, we get 12 times 10, I know anything times 10 you just add a 0, so that's 120, equals 28 times y, then divide both sides by 28, and I bet that's going to be 4 point something. Let's see, 28 can go to 124 times, 28 times 4 is 32, carry your 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 112. So how much is left over? 8. So 4 and 8 28ths, which reduces down to 4, and each is divisible by 4, 2 sevenths equals y. If you put it into the calculator, 120 divided by 28, 4.285 5, so I'm just going to make that 4.29 approximately because we rounded. Okay, let's look at the x. I know this one's a little bit trickier. Well, oh well, maybe not. We could do this. You can always use the same side. You can always use the same side of the triangle. So look at this. We can say x over 10, right? That's both on the small triangle is equal to, and then, oh, well, it is going to be a little bit. Then it has to be 20 plus x, that's the big triangle, 20 plus x over 28 was the big side, the other big side, right? Okay. So that means we are going to have, if we cross multiply, we have 28 times x is equal to 10 times 20 plus x, okay? So that means I need to distribute that x. So 10 times 20 is 200 plus 10x. Subtract x from both sides. I get 18x equals 200. Then divide both sides by 18. And I get x is equal to 10. 18 can go into 200 10 times with 8 left over. 8 over 18, which reduces down to 10 and 4/9. And if you put it into the calculator, that would be approximately equal to 200 divided by 18, 11.11. So we can just say that would round to 11.11. All right, for this next one, you just need to be very careful to make sure that you are finding your corresponding sides. So since, let's see, we have the vertical angles here, these are going to be the same, right? And since 4 is in between those two angles, this side will correspond with 9 because it's in between those same two angles. So one proportion we have is 4 over 9 or 9 over 4. It doesn't matter, you just got to use the same side from the other one. So that means 5 is going to correspond to x, and 5 is on the same one with the 4, so 5 over x. Okay, and then the other one would be, we'll keep the 4 over 9, but that's going to be equal to y over 12. All right, so here 9 times 5 and 4 times x. 4 times x is 4x. 9 times 5. I always like to multiply the side that has the variable first, so the variable ends up on the left-hand side, is equal to 45. So then we divide both sides by 4, and we get x is equal to 11 and 1/4. 4 can go into 45 11 times with 1 left over. Then the other side, 9 times y, like I'm going to do that first because it has the variable, so I get 9y. Doesn't matter which order you do it in. Equals 4 times 12 is 48. Then we just need to divide both sides by 9 to isolate y, get y by itself. And y is equal to, how many times can 9 go into 48? 5 and 4 left over, right? Wait, no. 5 and 3 left over because 5 times 9 is 45 and there's 3 left over. So 5 and 3/9, which reduces down to 5 and 1/3. There we go. All right, each statement below is a conditional statement. Rewrite each statement reversing the if and then clauses. Is each new statement true? Explain completely for each one. So A, if it is Tuesday, then the cafeteria will be serving spaghetti. So we change that to if the cafeteria is serving spaghetti, if the cafeteria is serving spaghetti, then it is Tuesday. Is Tuesday. So that would be true, right? If they, well, is it true? If it is Tuesday, then the cafeteria will be serving spaghetti. We don't know if it's true because we don't know if the cafeteria serves spaghetti on any other day. So it may or may not be true. The second one is, if I score a 90%, then I will earn an A in geometry. So we're just going to switch this around to if I earn an A, capital A, in geometry, comma, then I scored a 90%. Okay, again, we don't know if it's true. You could have gotten an A and gotten a 95%, right? So I'm not writing down the explanation. You guys would need to be able to do that. But I am explaining my thought process. Let's see what's next. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then alternate interior angles are equal. If alternate interior angles are equal, then two parallel lines are cut by a transversal. That is true. Then two parallel lines are, both ways are true, cut by a transversal. All right, number 8, solve for x. So again, it's really important to think about, and here we have at least two angles are the same, so they're similar. It's important to think about corresponding sides. Angle 4, or side 4, is in between the 90-degree angle and this angle. And then from here to here, we don't know what this is, right? But we do know that 5 corresponds to 7, so that's half of our proportion, as we have 5 over 7, is equal to, and we want to know what x is, so we want to put that over this side right here. The question is, can we find this side right here? Well, because, and only because it is a right triangle, we can use Pythagorean theorem. So what that means is that 4 squared plus b squared, b is what we don't know, that question mark, equals 5 squared. So 16 plus b squared equals 25. Subtract 16 from each side. B squared equals 9, which means b equals positive and negative 9. But whenever we're talking about the length of a side, we only use the positive. So we know that this side, oops, positive and negative. I hope you guys caught my mistake. I said positive and negative 9. It's really positive and negative 3, which means this side is positive 3, which means the other part of our proportion is 3 over x. So let's cross multiply. 5 times x is 5x is equal to 3 times 7 is 21. So we divide both sides by 5. And we get x is equal to 4 1/5, which is equal to 4.2. If you put it into the calculator, and I don't need to say approximately because I didn't have to round it. It should be exactly 4.2. I do not think I have enough time on this video to do number 9, so I will start a new video for you guys.